Mark Bare Naked Willie. What's going on, brother?
Well, here we are, Dave. This is episode 108, BS Friday Live.
108. I couldn't believe it. I just got a notice that we're over 700 videos total. 700 interviews on Dave Cooper Live.
700 is a huge number. And that's just over, let's say, 2 years and a few months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's also because the first year you and Jennifer were doing 6 days a week.
we were doing 6 days a week, and we're still doing 4 days a week, which is 3 times more than probably most people are doing.
So right. You do more in a week than people do in a quarter.
That's right.
I remember after the first year, your son said, "Which one's my dad?" Right? They didn't recognize you. You're on live more than you were on the motorhome.
You asked my son what my name is. He goes, Dave Cooper Live. That's all he knows. I'm Dave Cooper Live, Dad. Anywho, we got a great show today, man. I mean, super fun. We're going to the cold north, where it doesn't freeze, from what I just learned.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have a let's call it a dad joke about that one, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
We could. Well, listen, I think we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Mark, I leave next week for London. We're speaking over at the New Zealand Embassy House over there with a bunch of other speakers and politicians and everybody else. So we're going to be in London. So that whole week, we're going to bring you all kinds of cool stuff. But we will still find a way to bring you BS Friday from London. We will have fun with it one way or the other.
London is calling, right? London is calling. And yeah, next week we have a really good topic. We're doing the Huber Engineer Woods. Everyone loves Huber, so it'd be perfect that you're broadcasting from London, and safe travels.
Yeah, well, I won't be this Friday. Well, maybe it's this Friday or the following Friday, but either way, we are leaving at the end of the week. So, Mark, let's talk about what we have going on today, because that's what's important right now. All these people signed up to learn a little bit about building science, custom homes, and people that are doing it right from start to finish.
Yeah, for the folks that signed up, thanks for signing up. And for the folks that are watching on Saturday night, Tuesday afternoon, or whatever it be, get ready, because we have a fine example here. And we encourage all of you in the chats right now to introduce yourself, to cross connect. That's what this is about. That's why we do it. And
that's right.
Speaking of that, Dave, where are people watching from?
Ooh, man, they're all over the place. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. So get your tweets on. And soon I'll be on Instagram as well, I think. Trying to figure out how that one's going to work, but we'll figure it out. We're having a whole lot of fun. So like Mark said, make sure you tell us in the comments where you're joining from. Give us thumbs up throughout the show. And make sure you go to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell so it tells you that we are live. Or you find out that we've already done a video and you can watch it. Or you could join us tomorrow, Coffee with Dave. But right now, Mark, we got a little bit of an intro video that we're going to do. And then we have a surprise. And then we're going to bring on Larry. What do you think?
All right. Roll that tape.
Let's do it. Let's do what we came here to do.
The last award of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner for Custom Home Builder of the Year, Clay Construction.
Wow, look at that.
Yes.
Look at that.
Custom Home Builder of the Year.
Look at that, man. 2 times. I could see you bathing in that.
This is awesome.
Side, dripping wet.
What a video. All right.
I love it. Oh, we're going to play it again.
He's playing it again. He loved it so much, he's playing it again.
Oh, all right, man, Dave. I love it. So it is no surprise to me that Larry's winning all these awards. When we think about the team members that he has on his team, one in particular that's going to join us in just a second here, it makes a whole lot of sense how they can build beautiful custom homes, energy efficient homes, high performance homes, because they have the people and the knowledge to do it.
Bring it forward, Dave.
Sean, say no more. What's happening, Sean?
Good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Good. You look like you got a bit of a Vancouver tan going. You've been in the sun.
Well, we probably only had about 4 or 5 days of nice sunshine here. It's been Raincouver for the last 3 or 4 months here. It's January still here in June, so it is what it is.
January and June. Yeah, well, I'm in Destin, Florida, and it's going to be around 91 degrees today, and the sand is white and the beaches and the water is blue. So not to rub it in or anything. Come down and join.
Thanks. Well, again, we're like 12 degrees Celsius, so I'll let you do the math, but it's not that warm here. So
yeah, I bet. All right, Sean. I mean, listen, you are now working together with our next guest. And it is no surprise to me that they won any of those awards, especially knowing that you're on the team as well. Why don't you walk us through who's coming on the show, and let's bring them on then.
Yeah, well, this individual is someone who is a real leader in our industry, and I've joined, and all the work that you saw to win that award was before I joined, and the team is amazing, and that is really orchestrated by one individual who has started his career as an educator, as a teacher, and is still educating all of us on how to build homes that are quality. The quality, like you saw in the video, is just top notch. But now he's really incorporated the words of comfort and health. And people, when he spreads his stories, really understand what that means and how that really allows homes to really encompass many things. So you did see this latest award that the Clay construction team won this past weekend. But this individual is the past president of the Canadian Home Builders Association. He is truly a national leader, a national educator, and I get to work with him day in and day out. So, Mr. Larry Clay, please join the show.
Larry. I got to tell you, you guys are a hoot. Very fun.
Well, it's awesome to have you join us on the show today. You know, if you're hanging out with the likes of Sean St. Amour and Mark Wille, I mean, that just speaks volumes to me because I know these guys really well. But I mean, those homes are beautiful, Larry. And I think I just have to say, I don't truly believe that a lot of people understand that you can have custom homes that are built with sustainability, energy efficiency, and you're proving that all day long that you really can have what you want.
You know, we're really trying to marry luxury, high performance, and affordability. And those are three very difficult agendas to bring together. But I really want to prove this is possible.
Sure.
Perfect.
Sean, you're very kind. You know what? I gotta brag about Sean. I've known Sean like 10 years, and Sean is a leader in our industry. He's known, like, probably more people know Sean than know me. And it's an honor to have Sean with Clay Construction. Sean, you make us look good. Thank you for your kind words.
Makes us all look good. That's why he's on the show so much. He has more hair than me, and that's a start, right? So love it. Well,
you know, Larry, Dave kicks us off with the really fun part. You got the background, literally the background to shine. Dave, what's that number one question you kick us off with?
Oh, Larry, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will call one of your family members and have them come on this show, and they will spill the beans, and you'll have nothing to say about it. However, Larry, you only have 2 minutes to do it. Sean, thanks so much.
Thanks, Sean. Well, I'll start with a dad joke. I was born at an early age. How's that? I am married, 6 kids. That's a shocker for some, but I love it. Something we chose. My first dream was phys ed. I thought about sports all the time. I played them. I love sports. And so I became a phys ed teacher. But after 10 years of following my dream, I was actually bored of it, bored of teaching it. And they said, would you like to start a shop program? So I said, like with air tools and hoists, they said, yes. And so I stepped in as a shop teacher. We had a high school drag racing team, taught mechanics, and eventually that led to getting into construction. So there's my 1 minute.
1 minute. That was a good 1 minute. When are we going to start the flashing globe ball? It spins behind you and lights up the disco lights. I mean, I feel disco-y at the moment. Mark, we want to dance?
This is party time.
It is party time. We have a lot to celebrate. That's why, your background's perfect, but there's a story, Larry. There's a story as to why you have that background. And I think that's important.
Yeah. Well, it's a simple story. My presidency with the Canadian Home Building Association took place during COVID. So we were not able to be together. So when we did the national awards, Kevin Lee, the CEO, and myself in opposite ends of the country, we had to look like we were in the same room. So he had this background, I had this background, and we just gave out the awards, videotaped it, sent it in. Everybody thought we were in the same room, but I think it was probably we didn't fool anybody.
No, well, that's okay. I think outside of the background, I really want to I want to tap into this, Larry. Like you said in your opening monologue or your elevator pitch, you wanted to be in sports, right? And then you ended up in education, and now you're like one of the top custom home builders in Canada. So that's 3 different careers right there.
Yeah.
And you don't look that old to me. So you got some explaining to do.
Yeah, no, I think maybe I eat well or something. I'm older than I look, I think. But, I'm as surprised as anybody that I'm here, because there's days and I think, Larry, what are you doing here? You should be in a gym bouncing a basketball, because that's what you always wanted to do. And right now you win awards, you have some leadership, it looks good. But let me tell you how dumb I am. The first time I got into the building, I was teaching. I had permits, and I had to dig a hole. And I thought, so I go to Yellow Pages and I flip over to H for hole diggers, and there was nothing there.
You think?
And on the way to H, I saw pictures of things that looked like they dig holes, and they're called excavators. And so I called up, I still remember the name, Tiger Excavating, first guy I called in Abbotsford. And I said, I got to dig a hole. Do you dig holes? This is the excavation guy. And he laughs, goes, yes, I dig holes. I said, great, I found the right guy. I have absolutely no clue what to ask you. So he told me, this size of my machine, cost per hour, dump trucks cost this much, dump site fees are this much, and services are $2,200. And I said, what are services? He said, well, we're the guys who put the drain tile, bring the water lines in and all that. And I said, oh, that makes sense. I guess before you backfill. That's smart. And so that's how I started. And now I'm here. So I'm more surprised. I'm surprised. My wife is even more surprised.
And when did you start? What year was that?
It was around 96 is when I got started in the building. So when I was teaching, I built a house, moved into it, did it again, moved into it. Now I'm an expert. I had built 2 homes. So I had friends say to me, hey, you're an expert. Why don't you build me a house? So I built them a house on the side while I'm teaching. And I had friends say, hey, let's do a spec house and we'll sell it, split the profit. So made money. More friends jumped on, a couple more customs, did a personal house. I had 8 houses to build, and I'm still teaching. And I had to make a decision. So we decided to leave teaching, and rest is history.
What's interesting is you may have left the profession of teaching, but you actually continued teaching to a different audience.
Yes. Yeah. 100% agree.
It is spectacular. I see the how they align and emerge really well. My family is half teachers, half construction professionals. So I don't know anything different than your lifestyle choices, but I could say that I find it very common for teachers to be involved in construction and construction to be involved in teaching. And your example for that is a great pathway for other peoples to watch, to learn from. And then that's why I like examples, Larry. Dave hears me say this all the time, for them to take that example and to wear it in their own lives, in their own steps.
Yeah. So, Larry, let me ask you this then, right? Because the story makes it sound so simple, right? I was a teacher. I was building 8 houses. Most people out there can't do multiple things like that and run jobs and find the right team. So my guess is, from your teaching experience and building your own couple houses, you realized early on that you're only as good as the people you surround yourself when it comes to building. And walk us through that process a little bit, because I think so many people struggle with, how do you grow a business? How do you grow a team? How do you not be the lowest, paying, person out there, getting, the cheapest that you can get, and then poor quality? Like, how do you do all that? And when did you realize what the secret sauce was to having that for your success?
Okay, so I got a lot to say. So let me just say, it hasn't always been easy. And so you just fed me enough stuff. I could talk for 20 minutes. So I want to tell you how initially it was, we're doing spec houses, and that was going well. Then the recession hit. And so that's a whole story by itself. And I think some people can relate to this. So what happened October 2008, I'm unloading a compactor from my truck into the Bobcat. The Bobcat was running. I had lent it out. Somebody broke the safeties. And so I stepped on the pedals, and it drove the bucket up under my chin, or the arm that holds the bucket. And I just knew, I'm done. My head's coming off. I know how powerful Bobcats are. And this is how I will be found. I will be decapitated and my life's over. There was no fear. I just knew that's how my life is going to end. And somehow it kept going up. I was bruised from shoulder to shoulder. I lost my voice. Somehow my neck squeezed out, and I could not believe that I was alive. And I was in shock, PTSD, shock, whatever it was, for about a month. And I was emotional, and, I'd get teary-eyed, and I just could not believe the state I would have left my family in. And so this lasted about a month, but I remember about 1 week into this PTSD, whatever, my accountant phoned me and said, Larry, you've run out of money. Those 5 spec homes you're building, you got no more money. And the recession was starting, and I just realized I'm going bankrupt. I got 6 kids, wife and 6 kids. I'm losing everything. And I wish I stayed teaching. So I had to make my wife and I, big decisions. And we said, what do? We said, well, we're going to try to keep the farm. We got 5 acres. So she says, we're going to eat differently. I said, keep us alive. So we had 7-grain cereal every morning for everybody. We had homemade bread for lunches, homemade buns, soups for supper. We turned the heat to 14 degrees Celsius, which I don't have a clue what that is in Fahrenheit, so I can't help you there. But it was cold. And we put a wood-burning stove in the basement, the far end of the house, which didn't heat the other end. I told the kids, you can wear your winter boots and jacket in the house. You will not be comfortable everywhere, but you will not freeze to death. My job is to keep you alive. And I kept them alive. And that is how we got through. I had a truck, a brand new Dodge diesel truck, and fully loaded. And I got rid of that. And my sister was kind enough to take it. And I slashed every bit of spending. My wife fed a family of 8 between $216, $300 a month. And that included shampoos, dishwasher stuff, diapers. I had 5 kids in diapers and pull-ups at one time. So we got through there. I drove a $500 truck, and I remember feeling so good. I went from this fully loaded Dodge diesel to this $500 truck, but it was paid for. No leaks. I owned the whole thing, and I felt good. And that was a bit of how we kind of worked our way through. So it was a tough time. So then I had to reinvent myself as a custom builder, because custom builder, spec builder, one sells a product, one sells a service.
Yep.
Nobody was calling me for my service. So, do you got a house I can buy? No, I'm a custom builder now. So I had to reinvent myself, and I had to come up with okay, I got to do a budget. I wasn't a very good custom builder. I'll just be honest. I sucked as a custom builder. I wasn't really good at doing budgets and other things in communication. And I said, well, I can't go back teaching. I got to make this work. I got a family to support. And so I said, I'm going to get good at budgets. In fact, if I can be the best in the industry and I can count how many nails going to that house, I got to be the best. So that's what I worked on: systems, communication, budgets, and reporting, quality. And so we started to develop as a luxury custom builder.
Right.
But at the time, going through the recession, I'd like to say I got in high performance because I love the planet, but I'm more selfish than that. I got into it because when I had to pay a $300 utility bill, that was taking food from my kids. And I hated that. If there's any way I can get my utilities cheaper, I started studying. What can I do? And I became interested. I was reading about passive house guys who are fanatics. And I remember one forum, they're going, what lock set do you use? I use this one because it leaks less. I go, are you guys kidding me? This is crazy. Like, lock sets, really? And so I started to understand more about the passive house movement. And eventually, so I learned more about high performance, and I'd tell my clients, hey, this is great. Insulated concrete forms, you're going to love it. They'd say, great. You save money. What's the payback? 12 years. Yeah, we'll go with granite. Not that important to me. I'll probably sell the house. How about better windows? Let's work on air tightness. You're going to love exterior rigid insulation. Here's all the benefits. And I was rejected every time. And it's kind of reminded me like my high school dating days. And those are rough. I won't get into that. But anyways, my high school dating days, a lot of rejection, just like selling high performance. And so I learned from a guy, Gord Cook, up here in Canada. I think he has an office down in Denver. And he talks about how to sell this stuff. And I said, so he'd say, you tell stories. And he actually said something very interesting. If you start with the analytical side of the mindset, the payback's this, effective R value, this, and the permeability, people, that side of the brain kicks in, and they say, okay, well, what is the payback? Let's say they're analyzing. So, but instead he says, you go to the other side and you say, do you ever remember your grandma's basement? Did you ever remember how it smelled moldy? Yeah, I don't like that. Do you ever remember cold winter and you're standing by the window and you get cold, you got to go have a shower, warm up, or you're laying in bed, your back's against the wall and you get cold? That happens in Canada, maybe not down in Texas, but it happens all the time. I don't have any stories. You notice I don't say, hey, do you ever remember that time your house got really hot? That doesn't happen here. So I started showing pictures of what I came across. A lady had a window covered in mold because she had too much humidity, not enough ventilation. Another picture of a couple of girls sitting on a bay window reading a book, snow outside. And I start talking about your home's going to be healthier and how the wall assembly is going to dictate how healthy your home is going to be, and same with your basement. And I start talking about the dew point and why that exterior sheathing, if it's cold, you're going to have condensation. You don't want that. That's going to affect your air quality. I talk about comfort. So I started talking about health and comfort. And then they said, yeah, I want that. And I said, hey, by the way, you're going to save money. And they say, it doesn't matter. You had me at health and comfort. So if I don't sell them on health and comfort, I don't have them.
That's it.
So I start doing, I remember, insulated concrete forms. So I go to a house in Burnaby and I said, I called for forms inspection. And the inspector comes out and he's angry. And he says, "What's going on here? I'm here for forms inspection." I said, "Yeah, these are insulated concrete forms." I said, "Insulated concrete forms." And he goes, "You can't do that." I said, "Yes, I can." "No, you can't." It's in the code. He said, "It's in the code." "Well, we've never done it in Burnaby before." "Yes, you have." "No, we haven't." "You have. Arthur Lowe built the Harmony House demonstration home known across Canada."
Boom.
"Oh." He goes, "Oh, never heard of it." I said, "Ask your boss. He's heard of it."
Yep.
2 days later, get a call. "Oh yeah, I'll meet you on site. I guess these are fine." So, another inspector. I'm in Vancouver.
What year was that, Larry? What year
Oh,
that the ICF
it was
conversation?
around 2012.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
it's always a chance to learn, right? And
Yeah.
you were the one delivering the learning lesson. Yes, you have. Ask your boss.
Yeah, that's right. Same thing in Vancouver. I show up for I hate Polly, by the way, but we show up for
We all hate Polly. Bye-bye, Polly.
that's right. So the inspector shows up and we're gonna do a paint on vapor retarder. So
Nice.
he shows up and he says, "Why'd you call for inspection? You're not done yet." I said, "Yes, I am done." "No, you're not. Where's the poly?" I said, "I'm not going to have poly." "You have to have poly." "No, you have to have a vapor retarder." "Exactly. Where is it?" "I'm painting it on." "You can't do that." "Yes, I can. It's in the code." "Oh, anyways."
Polly wants a cracker and I want a liquid apply. That's it.
Yeah. So that's been the journey I've been on, trying to communicate high performance. And but another lesson I learned. So in Vancouver, we got a pretty, there's a lot of money. Homes are, if you want to buy a lot in Vancouver, $1.5 million. You want to be closer to the ocean. You can be 8 million.
And that's the price of the lot, but
Yeah,
your
that's
square
teardown.
footage to build, isn't that somewhere between like 550 and 1350?
Probably 5. So we're probably 400 right now for a civil home in Vancouver, but it can
Okay.
certainly go over 1,000. And
Gotcha.
so before COVID, we're introducing this step code in BC, meaning by 2032 we have to be net zero passive. 2032. So to get there, you can't just say, "Okay, we're here now," because the industry doesn't have the capacity to handle that. So what we do is we when I say we, I had no say in this. What BC did is they said, "Let's do it in steps: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5." So I had my energy and modeler model a home in Vancouver, and then I would calculate what it cost to do the HRV, exterior rigid, better windows, on and on. And so it was $50,000 hit step 5. So I'm talking to a gentleman in Newfoundland, and they're lower economically. Their homes are going to be less expensive. And I said to this gentleman, Greg Hussey, who was treasurer on our national board, I said, "Greg, I modeled this house, 50,000 hit step 5." And he says, "Larry, there's absolutely no way that'll fly here." I said, "Why?" He says, "I sell my houses for 220,000 for house and lot." I went, "Holy cow, Greg, there's absolutely no way. I can't even understand how you guys can build that cheaply. You're a far better builder than I am. I couldn't do it." So I'm telling Eric Denowden, past president, about 4 years ago, I said, "Hey, this is what Greg said." And he says, "Yeah, I'm in Ontario. Same thing. I sell my house and lot for 290." And I went, "Holy cow." So we have to be smart about how we push ahead, or we're going to kill construction in vast parts of the country. And so when I talk about affordability, that's an important agenda. I've got 6 kids trying to get into houses. And, we have 5 acres worth, is upwards of 3 million, live in an older house. And my daughter is trying to get into a condo. And I think she was trying to get into a $300,000 condo in Langley. And she says, I said, "This is what it's going to cost you." She says, "Why not just buy your house?" And I said, "Well, I don't think you can afford my house. But let's have some fun here. let's just say you had $100,000 down on my place, and which is like $98,000 more than you have. You know what the interest rates would be? I said, you'd be paying $12,000 a month. She goes, I only make $3,000. I said, well, then you're not buying my house. I said, but just for fun of it, when I got into the market, just to know how tough it is for Dad, when I got into the market, interest rates were 12.25. If you bought my house, you'd be paying $25,000 a month.
Yep.
Back when I got in, that's what it was like. So affordability is important. And you'll hear me often saying it's an important agenda. We have to pay attention to that. High performance, the planet is important. So how do we marry luxury, affordability, high performance? That's where my heart is. That's where my niche is.
So we're gonna take a second, let you grab a quick sip of water, Larry, and we're gonna say a couple of hellos, and then I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Question time. Well, let's say we've been flashing them up, but we got Mike Wingley. He says he agrees 1,000 or 10,000%. It looks like there. And we got Terry Yagi joining us, loving the ability to hear Larry's starting journey for sure. No stranger to the show, Tom Reddy. What a great story. It's obvious your leadership also. I'm sure there's something more to that, but I don't see it here. Buzz Howitzer. Conlon checking in. What's happening? And our good friend, Steven Basic. What's happening, Mr. Steve? I hope you are well. Put some sunscreen on, man. I hear it's hot in Mexico.
There you go.
He's a big dude, so he needs a lot of sunscreen.
So, Larry, we got the sacrifice. We got the $500 truck. We got the probably learning budgeting from your spouse as well, right?
Yeah.
And we also uniquely got the story of what I call grit, right? Of you going through that. I really like the Lockset story. I geek out about that small mounted aerial filtration, but there was also a monumental thing that happened. You had a trajectory to go and visit a home that is exemplary that was produced by a Mr. Harold Orr.
Do you want me to tell you a little bit about that?
Oh, I mean, you got the next 4 hours. Dave and I are going to go to lunch, and we'll be back.
So I'm at national meetings, and there's a legend, Tex McLeod, talking about history of high performance, and he talks about Harold Orr. Now, I've been taking these courses for years, and I keep hearing about Harold Orr and the Saskatchewan Conservation House in Regina, which is about 2.5 hours south of Saskatoon, where Harold lives. So I decided I'm gonna Google Harold Orr, and I discover that he's still alive, and he's on Facebook. Like, go figure. He's like almost 90 on Facebook. So I sent him a friend request, and he accepts. Oh, wow, cool. And I thought, well, here's my chance. So I said, Harold, I just want to say thank you for all you've done for the industry, for high performance, for paving the way for guys like me. You're a legend, and I just want to tell you this. And he was probably nicer about it, but my memory was like, thank you. What do you want? And I was like, I don't want anything. I just want to know that I told you that you're a legend and I respect you so much. But if I ever meet you, can I get a picture with you? And he goes, yeah, that's it. Yeah, easy. Let me tell you about my prairie double stud wall. And we start this relationship. And I said, and I really wanted to get to Saskatoon to visit this legend. But then COVID hits. And eventually I step in as national president. I'm traveling. Wouldn't you know, Regina asks me to go speak there. I said, well, if I'm in Regina, I must go and visit this legendary house that I've been hearing about for years. So I got the address from Harold, went there, took videos on my social media. You could see some of that. The picture of the Saskatchewan Conservation House, it looks like it's off in the prairies, and it looks like it's a house by itself. But right now, there's a townhouse complex on the one side, houses all around it, school on the other side. So it's in the middle of everything. So eventually I went on to, I said, if I'm this close to Harold, I'm driving to Saskatoon to see Harold. So I spent the day with Harold, and he took me around and he showed me the homes that he's worked on. He would tell me about these renovations, and he'd go, the first thing we do is we wrap the house in poly. I go, really? I said, are you not worried about a double vapor barrier? He goes, no. I said, oh, Harold, you're killing me. I know you're smart and you'll have a reason why. But I always tell everybody you can have multiple air barriers, but only one vapor retarder. And he says, well, that's simply not true. You can have many vapor retarders. I go, Harold, you're killing me here. Please explain. And I know that you're right because you're way smarter than me. So I'll just accept your explanation. He says, you can have many vapor retarders. The only thing you should concern yourself with is that the coldest vapor retarder is on the warm side of the dew point. I went, oh, that's perfect. And so that was my my time with Harold. Saskatoon months later had me back, and I said, Harold, I'm coming back to see you. Spent another day with him, and he's a legend, and everybody loves Harold.
I think everybody's going to love Larry.
Well,
Larry, I mean, I travel the country in a motorhome. I need a Larry Clay bobblehead doll.
Sure.
We'll just put it right in the dash there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell stories.
Yes, but the stories are so relatable because if you, I don't know people that have gone through the world of construction and continued to learn that haven't had the grit stories, that haven't had the sacrifice stories. The difference is you include that in your conversation. And a lot of times, like you said, people are still stuck in the world of, I love efficiency and I could save you money here. And they're putting out these kind of like car salesman sort of things. And the example you gave today is a refined approach that lands because you've worked it, you've lived it, and you know what it's like for the consumer to hear it, respond to it, and sign that contract and begin that 18-month relationship with you, from drawing to sticks to a shiny countertop in the end.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. You're relatable, right, Larry? And I mean, I relate to you. In 08, same thing happened to Jennifer and I. We lost everything. We had twin babies that just showed up. The market tanked. The bank started taking away the loan money for the builds we had and all the custom builds. And, so like I said, I just think, having somebody like yourself that's willing to share those personal hard times is inspiring to others, because again, we're all out here on an island by ourselves. And the reality of it is we're all going through similar things in this industry when they're happening. And knowing that, hey, yeah, it was a recession. It was a horrible crisis. It wasn't my inability to sell and build homes. It's just what the market was. Some things drive it. So, but the resounding way of feeding your family for $300 a month, right? That's impressive stuff. But that's the grit. And I think, an entrepreneur told me one time, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to be prepared to bleed. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. And your failures are what make your successes so great. And that truly plays very clear for you.
Well, I know that, even after the recession, we get building. I got 3 homes right away, made some money. But then after that, it just died. And I remember having a whole year, not one house to build. Yeah. And we had equity in our home. We're living on equity. I'm living on $30,000 a year. Some years I lived on zero. I just said, Candice, we're going to have to go as lean as we can go here. And people would look at our social media website and they say, man, I'd love to be in your shoes. And I go, yeah, maybe now, but I don't know if you got the stomach to go through what I went through. And when I went through the recession, I had people in my life who said, Larry, you're a loser as a builder and loser as a businessman. And I remember looking at my life going, yeah, I guess that look of Larry right now is that you are a loser as a builder and loser as a businessman. And I just said, I refuse to let that snapshot define me, because there's more to Larry than this situation he finds himself in. It says nothing about my grit, my character, my integrity. I'm going to get through this. And about 3-4 years later, we won that same award you just showed. We won it back in 2013. And so we won this award. And I remember thinking, well, the snapshot's different now.
Yeah.
It's Larry, you're an award-winning builder. You don't look like a loser anymore. And I just said, Larry, I refuse to let that snapshot define me.
Nice.
Because there's more to Larry than an award or money. There's character, integrity in how I treat people. And so that was important to me. We got through it. It has not been easy. I remember in about 2014, 2 people called me, said, we're thinking of becoming builders. And I said, and then they said, what do you think? And I said, can I just be honest with you? I said, here I sit. I don't have a house to build. I've won best custom home builder in BC, which is a province. But if I call BC a state, maybe that makes more sense to you guys.
No, we know provinces. That's a small thing that we know in the States. Keep going, brother.
Okay. So we, I just said, I don't know how you're going to do it. I said, I got a website, I got testimonials, I got education, I got credentials, I've won awards. I can't get a house to build. I don't know how you're going to do it. And so both people then said, you know what, we're going to do something else. And I said, yeah, well, it's probably wise, because it has not been an easy journey.
No, it's not.
And it's easy now. And I got great people. I got great people like Sean, who is a tremendous find. I've known Sean for 10 years, and I have so much respect for him. He knows, I know a lot about building science. He knows more. And I'm proud to say he knows more.
Let's bring Sean in, and we'll wrap it up right there. I think that's a great way. I mean, it's all about team, right? It really is. And I think that's where a lot of people fall short in this industry, is by surrounding themselves with the right people for the right reasons to do the right thing for whomever it is they're building for, whether it's spec or for a custom home. So
during that process, Larry, a lot of people say that we go through these ebbs and flows, right? And people say, well, we're trying. In fact, I look at it different. I would say that you were training. Yeah. You were training, doing that process, not trying. And the world of feast or famine is a real category for manufacturers, for site stick builders, for the offsite world. The feast or famine is a process. So when you need to look at those success days, when you need to look at those grit days, and if you haven't heard those examples before, you did today.
That's it. All right. Couldn't agree more. Collaboration for the win, according to Buzz Helitzer. Also, Greg Ugaldi. He is the top dog in Washington, D.C. for many years at the National Association of Home Builders, the man that updates the president, tuned in for your show today. So, good to see you, Greg. And I just might see you in D.C. next week. Lots going on there.
Is that a tease, Dave? Are you teasing us about a D.C. trip?
There's a tease, but there's also a time factor between my flight leaving for London and I sit on the subcommittee of the NAHB up there for the Building Systems Council.
Well, Larry and Sean, why don't you guys get a bicycle built for 2 and head over to DC and hang out with Greg Ugaldi? You all would have a riot.
It would be an honor.
All right, one last word from one of our most favorite people in the world, Andrew Seeley. He said he'd love the team up of Clay Construction with Sean. There's a lot of support here, so you'll be unstoppable. You'll be the biggest builder in the world, most recognized, well-known between your persona on screen, Larry, and Sean St. Amour's brains on Passive House and air barriers and all that. I'm kind of scared to see what kind of squid or octopus this is going to create for you guys. But awesome.
Well, thank you. Nobody's ever appreciated my brain before, but I'll let Sean take that.
Perfect. All right, a few others. Jessica says, thanks for sharing the show. Brian Rosh says hello as well. All right, listen, everybody, man, what an awesome show today was. I saved my voice for the weekend. We're having a lot of fun here today. Sean, thanks for jumping on. It's always awesome to be part of a team that appreciates one another, and I think that's what we have here for sure. Shannon Pendleton says it right. Match made in heaven. So, Mark, I might be going live from the beach with my coffee in the morning with the kids, so you might see Coffee with Dave live on the beach, Sean St. Omer style. In fact, Sean may bring that private helicopter down here one of these days and actually give me a darn ride in the thing, but I have yet to see that. Maybe it's the international travel part that's hard for him. I don't know. But outside of that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Larry, Sean, Mark, appreciate both of you, all three of you. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Larry, stay right there. We'll come back to you after the outro. Bye now.
Sounds good.